Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another history class. My name is Tony Wan, as most of you already know. Last class, we talked about the creation of world myths, and today we're going to talk about the origins of humans. Now, there are many myths of the creation of humans, like Nuwa, the Chinese myth, but today we're going to focus on science instead. 6 million years ago, the tribe of Hominini, which are basically apes, split into two: Panina and Hominina. 2.8 million years ago, a different category was created: Homo. These Homos were the first humans. Jumping into the future even more, about 200,000 years ago, Homo sapiens emerged in Africa. These Homo sapiens are us, modern humans. Well, they weren't so modern back then, but they were smarter. They were smarter than most other apes and monkeys and other creatures. But there's an interesting thing about humans. We Homo sapiens weren't the only human race back then. There were at least 7 distinct human species around, including us. They consisted of Homo erectus, Homo antecessor, Homo naledi, Homo neanderthalensis, Homo luzernensis, Denisova hominin, and finally Homo sapiens. Oh my, these sure are hard to pronounce. They had similar brain power, those humans, meaning that they were smarter than most other animals, and about as smart as the Homo sapiens back then. That's kind of frightening, isn't it? Like aliens were robots with their own will. Now, remember when I said distinct? There were other human races other than these 7, but some of them were just early stages of 7 human species, like Homo rhodensiensis, which are early Homo sapiens and came before us. And there were also human species in which scientists doubted that they were actually a part of the Homo category, like Homo habilis. And the scientists were probably like, oh, wait, we found this fossil. Well, we could compare it to other human fossils, and there are quite a bunch of similarities, but not that much to consider it to be in the category of Homo. But that's only one fossil, so they need more fossils to properly identify that as Homo. But now it's just here, temporarily here. Okay, moving on. Now you're probably wondering, where are these other human species now? Well, to answer your question, they're all gone. All extinct. Some of them survived quite a long time. Homo erectus survived for a whopping 2 million years. Let's compare that to Homo sapiens. Only 200,000. But the last of the other human species disappeared around 10,000 years ago. Well, why? Why did they disappear? Well, nobody knows for sure, but people have some theories. One theory was that we, the Homo sapiens, caused their extinction. Like in modern times, there is war. What's to say that our ancestors didn't have battles over resources or the determination to conquer land and expand your tribe and territory? In modern times, war like these happen, and these aren't against other human species too. These are among ourselves, so this is actually quite a possibility. But it's still a theory, and it's not that much proven. Nobody knows for sure, but it is interesting. Let's go back and head back to 2.8 million years ago to the first humans. Everybody knows the story of humans discovering fire. I'm going to run through it real quick though. Early humans used tools and weapons, but did not make any advancements or any progress in their ways for about around 2 million years. Until 800,000 years ago, when they discovered, you guessed it, it is fire. fire had many uses for humans. First of all, cooking. Who would want to eat raw meat again? It also made food have more benefits, just such as nutrition. So, and it also produced light to scare away beasts, and so that the Homo sapiens could have a clear view in the dark, which helped them a lot. And also warmth. Fireplaces. They're really helpful. They make you feel at home. But what's important to them is that hypothermia is no longer a problem and people won't get frostbite or freeze to death. But fire also made for an efficient weapon. People could set fire on their stone spears or anything really and throw it at animals. Or they could just set a small region or a forest on fire and they would find food roasted for them. Wow, free food. Nice. Except that, the trees would just burn. That's kind of sad, but before they didn't have to worry about global warming. There are also myths of how humans gained fire. The myth of Prometheus stealing fire tells of a titan, Prometheus, creating mankind. And of course, stealing fire. The Olympic gods didn't care much of the humans as they were weak and couldn't dare compare to the gods in power and intelligence. The Olympians toyed with them, and the humans did not really progress or get smarter or anything like that, similar to real life. However, Prometheus wanted to help his creation, so he stole fire from Hestia, the goddess of warmth and hearth. Some versions of the myth say that Hestia actually saw this, but didn't oppose Prometheus or, sell him out or snitch on him, as kids say these days. Because she was, nice. She was pretty nice. And she cared a lot about fire and hearth, but she had compassion. She was compassionate. She was sympathetic. So she decided some versions of the myth, I tell you again, not all, say that she did see Prometheus, but then she just let him run away with it. Now, the Prometheus then gave the humans fire and showed them what to do with it, therefore beginning human evolution and advancement like in science. But because of this, Prometheus was chained on a rock by Zeus, the god of the sky. Zeus sent an eagle to eat Prometheus' liver every single day, and every single day Prometheus' liver would grow back again, only to be eaten again. That was kind of mean, don't you think? Well, Zeus feared that the humans would be as powerful as the gods themselves because of this gracious gift. So, Zeus thought that it was a rational thing to do, to call on Hephaestus, the Greek god of smithing and blacksmiths and forges, to just create these chains and chain them on a rock. Now we're going to jump from 800,000 years ago to 300,000 years ago. Most of the different human species lived in tribes and small societies. They were more civilized. Now remember, the Homo sapiens weren't here yet. They were here 200,000 years ago, and this is 800,000 years ago. We're talking about the other human species. The tribes and societies had wood and stone tools too. They also had fire, of course. They buried their dead, had their own cultures and beliefs, and even, this is the most important thing, spoke to each other using some kind of language. Though not English or Chinese or Spanish or anything like that. They used a more primitive kind of language. And around 50,000 years ago, innovation and creative ideas sprang into place. Tools and weapons became more modernized and sophisticated, and cultures became more diverse and complex. Humans had a brain with more functions. Think about what this allowed them to do. Pick all the answers that you think apply. pause this video right here, because we're going to continue in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answers are that this allowed them to have a more advanced language to communicate effectively. They also had efficient cooperation while hunting and doing other things. And 4, which is they could form strategies in battles and hunting, and they could plan it out. And if you thought 3 was correct, well, our intelligence, flexibility, and adaptiveness, and many other things make us so much more different than other creatures on Earth, except for the other human species, of course, but they're extinct now. So 5 and 6 don't work because we don't have stronger bodies than mammoths and giant bodies like other animals, and we don't have cat-like senses and detect everything near like X-ray vision. But because of our witty brain, we could eventually, not now, but eventually we could develop a tool that allows us to have this kind of thing. So yeah, creativity, that's one of the human traits. Well, with this evolution, humans became able to learn quickly and pass down the knowledge to future generations. This then allowed the future generations to build on past knowledge to form new insight, and then this cycle continues, and then in the end, now we eventually become smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. So yeah. And finally, around 12,000 years ago, humans finally developed agriculture. It gave us food sources, bigger villages, and a better overall civilization. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and see you all next